Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. By the way, in case I forget to say it later, there will not be a Saturday episode this week. 2 weeks in a row, how about that? Anyway, we're heading down to see my family in San Diego this weekend as of tonight. So no Saturday episode this week. So sorry about that for those of you who actually look forward to listening to me yammer about Volkswagens. But anyway, yep, probably next weekend I'll get back to doing Saturday ones. I feel like I'm gonna have had some rest here for a couple weekends, and there's just way too much fun to be had around here. So anyway, let's get into what happened today, and I'll come back to this. So ran some errands, which is, of course, generally speaking, not the most exciting thing ever to talk about. However, one of the errands that I ran was picking these bad boys up from vapor blasting, vapor honing, whatever they want to call it. So these are the 356B drum brakes that are going on this insane machine here, the 54 Barndoor, and these things came out killer. So if you look back a few episodes, you can see what these looked like before we took them over there, and they had all kinds of crud and old paint, and they looked pretty ugly, and now they're awfully beautiful. And the funny thing is, I think now that they're clean, they almost look bigger than they did when they were all dirty. You can really see them. You can really see the fins, which are very pronounced. And yeah, these things are enormous. So watch this here. Let's take one of these and hold it up to this front drum here on the 54. And you can just appreciate how massive these things are compared to the stock brakes on here. Let me maybe zoom out a little bit here. There we go. So, I mean, I don't know if you can even see that difference there. I mean, this thing could literally swallow the stock brake for breakfast. It wouldn't even be a good breakfast for this thing. This thing is just a monster. And you know, it kind of makes you appreciate how good the 356s were in a way, because those cars were, needless to say, much, much smaller and much, much lighter than, like, say, an enormous bus like this that we're going to put them on. These things are still going to stop really good on this bus, which, again, is much, much heavier than the 356 was. But, again, it kind of helps you appreciate how good the 356s were, because these are just enormous brakes for a small car like that. And a huge upgrade for this Barndoor bus. So super excited about these. So we're gonna send these off and get them polished, and we'll get them machined, have the surfaces made good as new. And today I ordered pretty much all the parts for them, the wheel cylinders. So the fronts on these have 2 wheel cylinders per wheel. And then kind of like a later model bus, and then the rears just have 1. But again, just the massive size of these things on its own is already like a huge upgrade. And then 2 wheel cylinders per front wheel, crazy. So yeah, this thing is gonna stop insane. So yeah, that was definitely a cool errand. I hadn't expected to get these back until the week after next. But they went ahead and knocked them out for me really quick. I just brought those there a few days ago, I think, earlier this week. So super excited about those, and I can't stop staring at them, and I can't wait till we can get them on this thing. And now I need to get the wheels going, which are going to go with those. And this thing's going to be so sick. Anyhow, so that was an errand today, other than getting some other parts. Got some nice door handles for the 68 here. I went ahead and Got the nicer ones that Wolfsburg West sells that have proper looking Volkswagen style keys for them and super nice chrome and stuff like that. So those will be going on soon because this bus is going to be coming along here, actually finishing up here in the not too distant future. So kind of need some door handles. So I picked up those and some other odds and ends. So most of what I did today is work on the gorgeous mouse gray 63 here, last of the 23 windows. So in 64, for those of you that don't know, you may have heard about 23 windows and 21 windows. 63 was the last year for the 23 window, and what happened in 64 was on buses that had a lot of windows, they went down to 21 because they got rid of these rear corner windows. And what happened was on a 64 was that they made the rear hatch quite a bit wider. So it went out, more like this width here. And so that really kind of got rid of the need for the corner windows. So that's the difference between a 21 window and a 23 window. It's these two rear corner windows here. And again, 63 last year for 23 window. Anywho, so more wiring on this one today, and went ahead and put its really, really nice headlights on. Original, pretty much everything. The lenses are a little scratched up, but they're very cool and very original. I don't know if you'll be able to see you can kind of see the logos and stuff like that on them. So yeah, there you go. Look at that. Damn, super cool. They do have some scratches, but again, this dude loves original parts, and he would definitely prefer a scratched original lens. And they're not scratched that bad. I don't want to like overstate like they're terrible or something. They have some light scratches on them. Anyway, my point is he definitely prefers original ones with a little light scratching over a new one. So there you go. Anyway, put those on, put his front turn indicator lenses back on. I took his dimmer switch there on the floor and cleaned it up and repainted it, tested it out electrically to make sure that it worked before I bothered installing it, and installed it and wired it. And then what else? His wiper assembly is on now. You can kind of see it up in there. Let me grab my light. There we go. So yeah, there's his wiper motor assemblies all up in there and all wired and all that good stuff. And likewise, it is connected to its shafts, these are the original ones. I just put some tape on them to keep the shafts from falling back into the body. I didn't have and they didn't have the little E-clips on them to hold the shaft from falling back in, so I need to see if I can find some of those. So in the meantime, put a little tape on them just to keep them from falling back into the body. But anyway, those went on, and then kind of a big deal is his speedometer is now on and looking super gorgeous, and it's all wired up. I see the whole crap ton of wires there. I still need to spend some time laying on my back down here and organize the wires underneath there a little bit. Right now they're not terrible, but they're not really to our level of how neat and organized they are. I may need to shorten the length of a few wires and kind of route them a little bit nicer and stuff like that. But it's in and it's connected. All of its respective lights, idiot and otherwise, are all connected. And what else? Yeah, I went ahead and put his knobs on today. He's got a super nice original emergency knob. Pretty hard to find one of these in that good of shape. This guy's been collecting. You can see the color. It's kind of like almost a brick red. This guy's been collecting this parts for this car for a long time. He's got some bitchin' stuff. So there you go. I think those were kind of the main things on here today. Getting the the front lights and stuff on, the dimmer switch, putting the speedo in, wiring it up, and then finishing up installing finishing up and then installing his wiper assembly. So yeah, just trying to finish up the wiring. The next, and last big thing I have to do wiring wise is install the flasher circuit. So that entails the emergency flashers and the turn signals, and then the brake lights run through there. It's kind of a complicated setup, so I need to start in on that next. And then that's pretty much the last major wiring that needs to happen here. So coming right along, this baby. Okay, now I promised I would talk about this guy. So I took this thing for its first official, honest to goodness road test today. And this car drives awesome, feels good, motor sounds great, pulls like a freight train. I don't think I had it at full throttle just because, I want to get a little bit more confidence in the car before I abuse it to that level. But yeah, the car feels great. Just the brakes, everything on this car is spot on. The electrical all seems to be working. I even opened his top and drove it around like that. Yeah, this car is really good. So I put like 4 miles on it, which honestly for a first road test for me is a little bit on the long side. Usually I make more like closer to like a 2 mile loop for my initial road test drive, but this car was just feeling really good, and I wasn't feeling too nervous about anything. Yeah, you guys who watch the station for a while know that I kind of hate test driving new cars, customer cars, just because it's super nerve-wracking that some idiot's gonna like hit me, or something's gonna go wrong with the car, I don't know. But yeah, so took this thing on a drive and I was enjoying it, so kind of kept going more than I usually would have. Put about 4 miles on it, and yeah, so far so good. So the guy that I use, Robert at Custom Corrections, I think is his shop's name, he's going to come out Monday and polish this puppy up, and it's going to look amazing. And yeah, just some very tiny details left to do. I need to put his front emblem on there. I need to order and install some seat belts, and I still need to put on this one center cap here, which I'm still annoyed by Impy that they make you like trim the end of the speedo drive cable and stuff like that. Again, come on guys, don't be lame. But yeah, this thing's pretty much, like I'll say that close to being done. So yeah, maybe the owner will even take it next week. We'll see. I can see it happening. So anyway, that is it for today. That is it for this week. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a good Easter if you celebrate Easter. If you don't celebrate Easter, then have a good weekend anyway. And we'll see you guys all on Monday. Thanks. Bye.